everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to share with you what I think you should know before you start pumping. So stay tuned and like this video if you find this helpful. Okay, first things first is you need to establish why exactly you're pumping. The last thing you need is actually you're pumping because everyone else is pumping. The reason why you need to know why you're pumping because it will actually help you determine the next things that you need to know. Here are some examples on why people pump. Number one, people pump to actually release excess milk that they have whilst their body is trying to regulate their supply. Number two, working moms normally pump because they want to keep breastfeeding their kids. Number three, you want to have a bit of milk supply at home so that someone else can feed your kid whilst you're away. And number four, some moms choose to exclusively pump so that they don't actually feed their babies directly. Second thing you need to know is your nipple size. Now, this is actually not talked quite a lot in Malaysia, and I'm not sure why this is. When I started pumping, I was talking to a few friends and family, and I was reading things online. Very little mention about your nipple size. Your nipple size actually will determine what size of flange or breast shield or any other types of pump that you will actually need. A lot of moms attribute feeling pain or not having efficient pumping session to the pump itself. Now, this could be the case, like the pump might not work for you, but in some cases it's because you're not using the right size for yourself. Now, I'm going to link a video down below by another YouTuber on how to actually measure your nipple size, and I think the video was done very well. I loved it. I always refer it to any friend who asked. And the most important thing is to know what is your size, to get the flange in your size so that one, you don't feel too painful if you're using a pump that's too small, or you are not pumping inefficiently because you're using a pump that's too big. Alright, number three, what you need to know is you need to get the right pump for your situation. There are a few types of pump. Number one is a hospital grade pump. What is a hospital grade pump? It's basically a pump that's meant to be used by a lot of people. That means it's meant to be used heavy duty. So normally a hospital grade pump is for people who pump exclusively. A hospital grade pump is also meant to have the best kind of suction. That means the suction that almost mimics a baby suction. Here's a disclaimer. There's no suction in any pump in the world that's as good as your baby's suction. So you just have to bear that in mind every time you want to start pumping or when you're looking for a pump. So you want to find a pump that's as close to your baby's suction, but it will never be exactly the same. A very famous, and I think people talk about it a lot, hospital grade pump is the Spectra S1 and S2. Now, there's also another hospital grade pump that Medela makes. I won't talk about it too much because I didn't use it and it's very, very expensive. But from all the reviews I've seen, the Spectra S1 and S2 is a very comparable hospital grade pump. And it's also way less cheaper. I'm going to put all the links down below to help you guys refer to these pumps that I'm talking about. In my experience, I was using S2 in the very, very early days because Ira had jaundice and she would not wake up for a feeding session, and it was very difficult for me to try and nurse her directly. So when I was using the Spectra S2, it really helped stimulate my milk, even though I did not have a baby to help me stimulate my milk. I was still able to fully breastfeed her until she was 2 months old, and she was done with her prolonged jaundice and she was able to sustain a longer session every time we feed. So for me, S2 is always the one that I will start with, just because the suction really almost mimics a baby suction. And I think this is not just for me. If you look for reviews online, a lot of people will say the same thing. Now, the difference between S1 and S2, from what I understand, is that S1 actually has a rechargeable battery, so you don't have to plug it into a wall. When I was looking for the pump, I did not come across S1, or else I would have bought S1. But with S2, it has a similar functions, but the only problem is that it stays plugged to a wall, so you can't walk around whilst pumping. The second type of pump is a portable pump. So a portable pump means it has a rechargeable battery. Normally it's small in size and you can actually pump on the go, but it still has tubes and wires. What I used for a portable pump was Spectra 9 Plus. 2 years ago, this was the famous pump and everybody was using it. My opinion is, because it's smaller, it just doesn't have the same suction that S2 provides. But after pumping and feeding Ira for 3 months, when I was back at work, my milk supply has somewhat regulates, and I was able to get a good pump session just from my 9 Plus. But do I get more with my Spectra S2 hospital grade pump? Yes, I do. Number 3 is a tubeless pump. A tubeless pump is almost like a portable pump, but it doesn't have any tubes. What it means is that you actually attach the pump to the milk collector, and then you just latched it to your breast, and you would leave it, and you would have the pump session like that. Now, it's not as discreet, but because it doesn't have tubes and wires, it's a lot easier to carry around. The cons for that is that you actually need 2 pumps for each side of your breast, because if you like me, where you do double pump session every time when you're at work or when you're out, then obviously having just 1 pump is not enough. So normally a tubeless pump is more expensive than a portable pump. Recently, I did a video on my channel to unbox a tubeless pump that I found online. So I'm going to link the video down below if you guys want to see it, but I have not actually used it yet. It's already quite common, I think, nowadays to see a tubeless pump, and you can probably try to find one that suits you. Now, number 4, and this is the latest kind of pump that's available nowadays, it's actually a wearable pump. A wearable pump is similar to a tubeless pump, but it's more discreet, in which you can actually put it in your bra, attach it to your breast, and you would have your pump session like that. That means you don't actually need to hold the pump, or you don't need to specifically have a separate pumping bra. The 2 world leading wearable pumps are the one made in UK and one made in the US. In the UK is the LV pump, and in the US is the Willow pump. In Malaysia, you can get the LV pump, but you won't be able to get the Willow pump because they don't ship internationally. These pumps are really expensive. They cost about $500 for a set of 2. That means for your left and right breast. This is about equivalent to 2,500 ringgit Malaysia. And a typical pump in Malaysia would cost you less than 1,000 ringgit. You could actually find cheaper ones that cost you less than 500 ringgit. So these are very expensive. I've recently did a video on 2 wearable pumps that are available in Malaysia, which are a lot cheaper, but I'm not saying that these are comparable to the 2 leading world pumps in the world, because I have not tested them, I don't know. But we do have cheaper options available in Malaysia, and I can't wait to try them out. A wearable pump is normally for moms who are at home and would like to do work while you're pumping. So you like to walk around, you would like to have your hands free, or for working moms who would like to pump discreetly in the office. Alright, the 4th thing that you need to know is you're probably going to need a pumping bra. Now, there's 2 types of pumping bra. I'm going to actually insert a clip of these 2 pumping bras. Alright, so there are 2 types of pumping bra. The first one is the traditional pumping bra. Here it is. So, this traditional pumping bra is actually quite comfortable to use and quite sturdy. So if you have it on, then normally your pump will be quite straight and it'll be quite comfortable for you to walk around if your pump is tubeless. The only problem with this traditional pumping bra is that you can't actually use it on a normal day-to-day, so you can't nurse your kid or anything like that. So you have to take off your normal bra and then use this pumping bra instead, so it's a bit of a hassle. So normally I would only suggest to use this at home. The second type of pumping bra is this extension. So as you can see, it has these clips on top that will clip to your normal nursing bra. So if you're wearing a normal nursing bra like this, what you have to do is to unclip this like you would if you're breastfeeding, and just clip it on top. Right, like that. So if you're feeding your kids at home and want to pump after the nursing session, this is a great one to use. That way you don't have to take off your whole bra and then put on the pumping bra. And this is what I would also suggest to be used when you go outside with your baby and you also want to pump, or when you're in the office. That way you only need one of these, or one or two, to be used with all your normal nursing bra. It holds up the pump quite well as well, but it's not as well as the first one. So as long as your pump or your flange is not too heavy, then this will do. Alright guys, that's the end of my video. If you think this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more similar content in the future. Bye!